Hello students, as you all know that this year in class 12 CBSE board there have been some changes regarding the format of the paper, even the marking scheme. So earlier you used to have four long compositions which used to be article, debate, speech and report. However, this year you have just article writing and report writing. Debate and speech have been omitted. In short compositions, you have notice writing, advertisements, and invitations, formal and informal invitations. So, today we are going to take up article writing. In my next uh, video, I will be telling you how to write a report for a newspaper and for a magazine. So, this is what you have in your syllabus, how to write a report for a newspaper and also for a magazine. The format for both the things is different. So, that you can see in my next video. Uh, Today we are going to take up article writing. All right, we are going to discuss each and everything that you need to know about article writing. So till last year we used to have long compositions for 10 marks. However, this year we have these long compositions for just 5 marks. The CBSE has also reduced the word limit. It used to be 200, 250 words earlier, and now since the marks have been reduced, so is the word limit, and it is just 150 words. I know children, it is difficult to write less and to write well too. So it is indeed a challenge which I'm sure you are going to meet very successfully. All right, so let's go on to the next slide. The other day I was reading this book by Thomas S. Kane. I really like this quote of his. He says, "You don't have to be a genius to write clear, effective English." Actually, it is very correct. In article writing, children, when you get a question, all right, read the question again and again. Understand it, all right, and then think about it and then start writing. Don't just start, writing it. So while writing on any topic, we must spend considerable time in planning. Emphasis should be made on the choice of your words. And in class 12, this year, you have just to master the art of writing an article and a report in long compositions. Both are easy, so don't worry and get started. Remember, CBSE has told you to follow a specific pattern. It is always good to use short and crisp sentences because they never lose their essence in comparison to lengthy sentences. Lengthy sentences fall flat and they do not appeal to the reader or to the examiner. All right. So word limit, all of you know. Let's go on to the next slide wherein we will see the format and the marking scheme. Now, when we talk of the marking scheme, we have 1 mark for the format, 2 marks for the content, and 2 marks for the expression. In expression, let me remind you, there should be no grammatical errors. There should be no spelling errors. There should be no incorrect subject-verb agreement. All the sentences should be constructed correctly, keeping the tense in mind. If you are writing in present tense, please do not have 2, 2, 3 tenses mixed up in one sentence or even in one paragraph. As far as possible, maintain the same tense unless you are narrating some incident or giving some narrative or anecdotes in between. All right, so as far as possible, maintain the same tense. Now, what do we mean by format? Let us see what exactly is a format. Now, in an article, you have to give a catchy heading or title, whatever you may call it, which should be followed by a byline. What is a byline? In byline, basically, you will be writing the name of the person who is writing the article. For this, again, you need to read the question very carefully. If in the question the name is given, please write that name. Please do not write your own name. And at the same time, if there is no name given, all right, then also you will not write your name. In that case, you can say, after giving the heading, you can say by XYZ or by ABC, anything. All right, so do not write your own name. If a name is given in the question, please pick up that name only from the question. Now, after that, please leave a line. Now, when we say leave a line, that is mainly to be given to make your presentation, the way you are writing, the way you are presenting your answer to the examiner is extremely important. So, leave a line after the byline. Start with the paragraphs, okay? Start with the content. Content should be divided into, say, 2 to 3 paragraphs, and your last paragraph should conclude the article, and it should sum up your main article. It should sum up your article beautifully. All right. Now, in the first paragraph, itself, the examiner children will understand what is going to follow. So try and not bluff around, or as I call it, beat around the bush. So the first paragraph is extremely important. You mustn't write any nonsense here. In fact, it is always a good idea to start with a quote or a proverb. Okay. For example, if you have to write an article on, say, the importance of health, you can always start by saying health is wealth, or health is like money. We never have a true idea of its value until we lose it. It is by Josh Billings. Okay. So something which is catchy is always going to get you better marks. In case the topic that is given in the exam is close to your heart and you know a lot about it, you can construct your own quotes, you can construct your own proverbs. Okay, so marking scheme I already discussed in the previous slide. So here let us revise the format once again. You have to give a very good, very catchy heading, which is followed by a byline, then you leave a line, write the article in 2 to 3 or maximum short 4 paragraphs. Please leave one line after each paragraph. This, as I told you earlier also, is going to help you in presenting your article in a better manner. All right. So let us go on to the next thing, that is the process of article writing, which is very, very important. Now we come to the process of article writing. It is called coder. I am sure all of you know about this. What exactly is this coder? Well, coder is here right in front of you. It stands for, C stands for collection of ideas, O stands for organization of ideas, D for draft, E for editing, and R for revise or review. Now, unfortunately, students do not pay any heed to coder. They just jump on to D. You do not give any importance to C, O, E, and R. You are more interested in D, that is just writing it. Now, immediately after seeing the topic, students jump to write. Remember, thoughtlessly written write-ups are a huge disaster, children. So you have to halt and devote some time on thinking. Jot down your ideas. In fact, just the way you draw a right-hand side margin in your mathematics or accounts or physics exam, you must draw a rough column in the English paper also. Okay, jot down all your ideas over there. Whatever comes to your mind after seeing the question, jot down all these points. In fact, more the merrier. Then you have to select 2 to 3 or maximum 4 main ideas and develop them. Present strong arguments. Do not forget to support your arguments with examples or evidence or instances, etc. Now remember, till now we are just formulating ideas. After this, you require some special effects. And what I mean to say is, once you have decided and selected the points on which your article will be written, most of your job is done. We all know, well begun is half done. So now, once your collection of ideas is done, we come to O, that is, we have to streamline our ideas. Divide what will form your introduction, develop it, and finally conclude. All right. Now, you may say that easier said than done. Remember, it's all in our mind. Most of our battles are won or lost in our minds first. So, what are you waiting for, children? Just pick up your pens and start writing. Because main hurdles of C, O, and R are over, then we can write our draft. Make sure that you write this in rough. Now, let me tell you the meaning of the word draft. It means a preliminary version of a piece of writing. So, please remember you have to write it in rough and then you have to edit it. Then you have to, after revising, write in your answer sheet. Now, you may say that in exams we will not have this kind of time. Precisely. That is why we want you to practice this process before your exams. In the exam, you will be such an expert that you will be such an expert writer that you will be just jotting down your ideas in rough, and you will soon know, all right, out of these 6 points, I'm going to pick up these 3 points, develop them, organize them, and write them, and after checking all my grammatical errors and everything, I'm going to finally write it. All right, so it is not difficult, but yes, you have to practice it. Remember, language, mathematics, numericals, you have to practice every day. These are practical things. You don't practice them, you don't master them. So it is important for us to practice all these things. Okay. Now, this year 2020, we all were, in our houses attending online classes. So I just thought of writing a sample article for all of you on coronavirus itself. So this is one sample article which I wrote for all of you. So the question is, write an article on coronavirus, all right, SARS-CoV-2, that causes the disease COVID-19 and its effects on the world. So my heading, all right. Now heading is always very tricky because we want to make it catchy. So alliterations are a great help here. You can always think of something which is, which rhymes. Alliterations are again, as I just have done here also, coping with coronavirus, CC. So it's an alliteration. There is no name given in the question, so I have written by XYZ. And I have started with this quote. You can see this quote. Now I have divided my article into 4 paragraphs. I may have exceeded a little bit. Initially when I wrote this article, this was for 250 words. It was keeping in mind my 10 marks, but then I have shortened it and I have perhaps, it might be to 170 words maximum. So even if you write 150 to 170 to 180, no one is going to penalize you. You will get good marks. All right. You can go through this article later on. So what I want to say is basically that please, article, children generally get confused between article and report. I will be clarifying this in my next video also. Let me clarify this here again. In an article, children, we are free to express our point of view. In an article, we can write our opinions, all right? What do we feel about the topic? We can write that. But also at the same time, you must be very careful in reading the question. What does the question say? So most of the things, you will be taking out from the question itself. Obviously, you have to be more creative, be more critical. So you need to develop your creative thinking, You need to develop your critical thinking skills, creative skills. All right. So all those skills will be definitely developed if you practice. So I suggest to all of you that you must practice at least, all right, I'll repeat, at least once, one article per week, or say two articles, two reports you should write per week, all right? And short compositions you can practice almost every day. So if you go on at this speed, and this kind of practice will definitely, you will be reaping benefits in future. So please pick up your pens and start writing. Let us now finally conclude. So article writing is very simple. We need to remember the format. What is the format? We start with a catchy heading. We give a byline. We leave a line. We write 2 to 3 paragraphs, maximum 4 short paragraphs. We write short, crisp sentences. We remember the marking scheme because format 1 mark, content 2 marks, and expression again 2 marks. We remember the whole writing process, which is extremely important. And last but not the least, we need to practice. All right. I hope it was a good explanation, and I am sure you are going to practice before you appear for your final examinations. All the best. Thank you so much.